Mackenzie Wilson is not a doctor, but for this segment, she is scrubbed up. Let's see why in the world she's taking us under the knife.
Central Oregon is a huge horse community, and when these horses get hurt or injured, they usually come here to the Bend Equine Medical Hospital, and today we're going to give you a look inside the surgery room. Ever heard the phrase, enough to knock out a horse? Well, that saying is really misleading because it doesn't take that much to knock out a horse. What it does take is the right people.
Yeah, it's very different than human medicine, where you're definitely not allowed to go watch the surgical procedures, but we find that the owners really value that, and sometimes they're a little bit too emotional about it and they make the choice themselves that they don't want to watch the procedure, but most of them are pretty interested, and I think it helps them to understand how many people it takes and what a production it is, because it's a lot more difficult than doing a surgery on a cat or dog in terms of the infrastructure that's needed in the team. So I think they appreciate seeing all that behind the scenes.
Scrubbed up and sterile, Dr. Wendy Krebs and her team go to work on Krishna, who's a 7-year-old Appaloosa.
Krishna had a large bone lump right here sitting above the cannon bone that was on the inside of those legs, so when he walked he was interfering and creating a wound over that, so this is where we did our surgery to remove it.
Most of the surgeries here aren't emergencies, but between 10 and 20 times a year, this crew has to drop everything and rush to the OR.
We're on call really 24/7. We always have 3 doctors actually on call in case we need to come in for a major surgery like this, as well as a technician. So it can be very hectic. You get middle of the night calls pretty frequently.
The only other place to take a horse for an emergency surgery is OSU in Corvallis. What is it like when you get that call, when you know dinner's over, I'm going in for an emergency colic surgery?
Well, your first reaction is, oh, no. And then after that, you kind of get over it, and then you walk in this room and everybody's flying around, and it's showtime. It's an adrenaline rush every time.
To worried owners who are right outside the door, it may look like controlled chaos.
Owners going through this is a big deal, and there's a lot on the line in those situations, and we have some honest conversations, and costs are a significant factor, for taking care of these guys. So it can be, the highs are high and the lows are low.
Everyone in here completely understands because they love horses too.
Almost everybody owns a horse. Dr. Schmalzer so far has been too wise to get back into horses, but he did in the past.
It took about an hour, but Dr. Krebs got the piece of bone out of Krishna's leg. A couple of stitches later, all 1,100 pounds of Krishna were hoisted up and moved to the recovery room. It's not something you'd see every day, but it's great to know this team is here when you need them.